Garage Gang, welcome back to another Token Teardown. Today we're rolling Aave into the bay. The big question, is Aave the grand Cherokee Trackhawk of DeFi, supercharged, street legal, and built to get anything off the line? Or just an aftermarket hood and a loud exhaust with no real horsepower underneath? If you're new here, remember KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. No jargon, no fluff. Just straight talk, so you know if this token belongs in your bag or belongs in the scrapyard. And yes, we will get to price predictions. I know that's your favorite part. But before we do, smash that like, hit follow, and if you like the content, share it with your fellow crypto bros, or even your uncle who tells you every Thanksgiving that Bitcoin isn't real money and is going to zero. Before we fire it up, let's check the pit crew, peek under the hood, and see if this ghost has real muscle. Shout out to Christian, Triple X himself, crunching the numbers, while Lulu the crypto pig keeps her curly tail pointed at the charts. The pit crew, who's under the hood? This isn't some shadow protocol. Aave is built and maintained by a doxed professional team. At the wheel is Stani Kulechov, Finnish-born, law student turned DeFi pioneer. He's been building since the ETHLend days in 2017, and he's still leading from the front. Backing him are the mechanics at BDG Labs, Board Ghost Developing Labs, veterans like Ernesto Boato and Andriy Andiko Kozlov, both from ETHLend's early days. Now handle architecture, integrations, audits, and maintain Aave v3 across more than a dozen chains. If Aave runs on new tracks like Base or Scroll, BDG Labs are the crew tightening the bolts. Then you've got the Aave Chan Initiative, or ACI, the pit chiefs on the governance wall. They've pushed to list new assets like STH, launch GHO stablecoin markets, deploy Aave v3 on new chains like Base, and redesign tokenomics with buybacks and anti-GHO rewards. They've even brokered integrations like Athena's USDE. Risk management comes from Gauntlet and Chaos Labs. Gauntlet simulates daily stress tests and tunes collateral factors like tire pressure. Chaos Labs pushes Black Swan scenarios to see if Aave's chassis can hold up under maximum strain. And finally, leadership keeps the garage running. Peter Kerr as CFO, Nicole Butler guiding compliance, Radostina Timcheva steering people and culture, and Ben South-Lee leading product and design after Aave acquired the family wallet team led by Benji Taylor. All of this sits under Avara, the umbrella tying Aave, Lens Protocol, the GHO stablecoin, and family wallet together. KISS. Stani drives. BDG keeps the engine tight. ACI calls the race. Gauntlet and Chaos tune the tires. And leadership runs the shop. Real names, real accountability. How Aave works. At its core, Aave is a decentralized money market. You deposit tokens like ETH or USDC, and you get A tokens in return, receipts that automatically grow as interest accrues. You can post collateral and borrow against it, all while keeping your original bag intact. Borrowers can pick variable rates for flexibility or stable rates for predictability. And then there's Aave's turbocharger, flash loans. They let you borrow millions instantly, as long as it's repaid in the same block. Arbitrageurs and liquidators use them constantly. Aave v3 added portals, which let liquidity teleport cross-chain through governance-approved bridges. That means funds can flow from Polygon to Arbitrum to Avalanche almost seamlessly. And then comes GHO, Aave's own stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. You mint it by locking up collateral. Borrowers pay interest, and 100% of that interest flows straight into the Aave DAO treasury. Governance by Aave holders sets the rates and rules. Early on, stakers got borrowing discounts, but now the system is shifting into anti-GHO, direct revenue sharing in stables for those securing the protocol. KISS. GHO is like Maker's DAI, but fully native to Aave. Collateral in, GHO out, and interest payments power the protocol instead of banks. Today, Aave is hauling serious numbers, over 60 billion in deposits, close to 300 million a year in fees, nearly 40 million in profit after incentives, 17,000 daily active addresses, and 64% market share of DeFi lending. Partnerships and integrations. Who's in the pit lane with Aave? Aave isn't just dominating on its own track, it's wired into the entire DeFi circuit. MetaMask tapped Aave to power its stablecoin earn feature. That means millions of wallet users can deposit USDC directly inside MetaMask and earn yield from Aave without ever leaving the app. That's seamless integration at the user level. Balancer V3 partnered with Aave to build boosted pools, letting liquidity providers earn extra Aave yields on top of their balancer positions. It's like strapping a turbo onto a turbo. Two engines working together. Chainlink remains the heartbeat of Aave's Oracle system, but it goes deeper now. In 2025, Aave integrated Chainlink's smart value recapture, clawing back MEV that used to slip out during liquidations and turning it into protocol revenue. That's like fixing a fuel leak and putting every drop back into the tank. Institutions are rolling in too. Aave Labs launched Horizon, its institutional arm, with partners like Circle, VanEck, Chainlink, and WisdomTree, bridging tokenized real-world assets directly into Aave markets. And on the CeFi side, Bitget Wallet teamed up with Aave on Stablecoin Earn Plus, a product offering up to 10% APY on USDC routed through Aave's pools. Even publicly traded companies are playing. Nasdaq-listed BTCS has disclosed that it uses Aave to finance its digital asset treasury strategy. That's not degen capital. That's corporate cash. KISS, wallets, oracles, dexes, institutions, CeFi bridges, even listed companies. Aave is plugged into every pit lane, capturing value across the entire track. Competition. Who's chased the ghost now? Let's talk competition. Because the ghost doesn't race alone. Compound was the OG money market. Simple, battle-tested, but today it's running in the slow lane, with only about 5% of the market. MakerDAO and Spark Protocol are serious rivals. Maker created DAI, and Spark now competes head-on with Aave's lending and stablecoin business. That's one of the few teams with the torque to challenge. Morpho is an optimizer that actually rides Aave's slipstream. It matches lenders and borrowers peer-to-peer, squeezing out better rates. It doesn't replace Aave, but it takes some margin from the system. Euler Finance introduced flexible risk isolation models. After its 2023 hack, it lost momentum, but the idea shows how quickly new lending designs can appear. Then there are the niche racers. TrueFi and Maple Finance specialize in under-collateralized, credit-based loans for institutions. Cream runs long-tail assets. Silo Finance builds isolated markets, so one bad asset doesn't wreck the pool. Notional Finance offers fixed-rate lending for users who want certainty instead of floating rates. Gearbox adds leverage to DeFi positions, sometimes using Aave's liquidity as the base fuel. And on Binance Smart Chain, Venus is a local heavyweight. So what keeps Aave in front? Breadth of assets, unmatched liquidity, cross-chain reach, and unique features like flash loans and portals. It's plugged into everything, from MetaMask to Balancer to Chainlink SVR. And now with Horizon, it's carving an institutional moat around tokenized real-world assets. KISS, the competition is fast and creative, but Aave is the Trackhawk. Bigger engine, stronger traction, and still lapping the field. Tech and upgrades. What's under the hood? Now let's talk tech, because this is where you separate a Trackhawk from a kit car. Aave runs on Ethereum, but thanks to V3, it's deployed across more than 14 chains: Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, ZK Sync, and Scroll, to name a few. That cross-chain reach means Aave liquidity isn't stuck on one track. It's racing everywhere at once. Aave V3 itself brought major upgrades. Portals allow liquidity to teleport across networks through governance-approved bridges. Isolation mode lets smaller or riskier assets join the system without putting the whole pool at risk. High-efficiency mode gives correlated assets, like stables or liquid staking tokens, higher borrowing power. And the contracts were optimized to cut gas costs. A leaner, faster engine. On security, Aave is one of the most battle-tested protocols out there. Open source code, audits from Trail of Bits and Open Zeppelin, and bug bounties up to $1 million. Even in 2022, when a CRV attack left small bad debt, the system proved resilient. No user funds lost, parameters tightened fast, and the upgrades aren't slowing down. Aave v4, the so-called Liquidity Hub, is in the works. It's designed to unify liquidity even more seamlessly across chains and to bring in real-world assets at scale. Combine that with the launch of GHO stablecoin, and you can see the Ghost evolving from just a lending protocol into a full-fledged financial engine. KISS. Aave is running on Ethereum and a fleet of L2s, secured by Chainlink oracles, optimized by V3, and already building V4. It's not just a car on the track, it's a race team, engineering the next model before the current one cools. Now we come to everyone's favorite part, the money. And for this, thank you to our head of technical analysis, Lulu. She's the one with her snoot buried in the charts while we line up the numbers. Cruise control, the base case. Imagine the crypto market humming along, hitting that 20 trillion total cap. Bitcoin and Ethereum are leading steady. Layer 2s are maturing. DeFi keeps building, and Aave simply holds its position. In this world, nothing flashy, just the Ghost doing laps with the same dominance it has today. That translates to about an $80 billion market cap for Aave, or 5,000 per token. It's the comfortable ride, not jaw-dropping, but rock-solid growth. 1% dominance, the bull case. Now picture the pit lane in full throttle. Crypto isn't just big, it's mainstream. Institutions are deploying billions. Real-world assets are tokenized. And GHO stablecoin is everywhere, fueling payments, trades, and DeFi strategies. In this scenario, Aave doesn't just hold its slice, it doubles or even triples its share of the lending market. That pushes its cap into the 160 to 240 billion range. That's $10,000 to $15,000 per Aave, a moonshot for a blue chip, and proof that the Trackhawk engine can still surprise people. Flat tire, the bear case. Now let's flip it. Crypto hits 20 trillion, but Aave struggles. Competitors like Maker's Spark claw away users. Morpho compresses yields. Regulation adds friction. DeFi grows, but Aave doesn't keep pace. It's still alive, still respected, but more like a steady mid-pack runner than a leader. In this world, market cap is around 20 billion, with price roughly 1,200 per token. Respectable, but disappointing if you expected the Ghost to lead the charge. And then comes the Black Swan. This is the nightmare lap. US regulators step in and decide GHO falls under the new Genius Act rules. That law says only licensed issuers can run payment stablecoins. They must be backed one-to-one by cash or treasuries, with monthly audits and no yield to holders. GHO isn't designed that way. It's decentralized, minted by the protocol, and has no central issuer. Technically, that might keep it outside the law. But if US exchanges and custodians decide to play it safe, they could cut off GHO anyway. In that case, US liquidity evaporates, adoption stalls, and the Ghost gets slammed. Even in a 20 trillion market, Aave EV could fall under 700. Now hang tight before you go aping your life savings into Aave. Remember, our head of technical analysis is Lulu. And yes, I'll put her charting abilities against some of the best on crypto Twitter. But at the end of the day, she is a pig. 4 hooves, a curly tail, and a snoot for the charts. If you're taking advice from a pig without doing your own research, you deserve to lose your money. This is not financial advice, just how we see it. So how does Aave score on the dyno? Let's run down each category, and I'll tell you why we gave these numbers. Tech stack, 9 out of 10. Aave has flash loans, cross-chain portals, isolation, and high-efficiency modes, and is deployed across 14 plus chains. The reason it's not a perfect 10? Complexity risk. More moving parts means more things to break. Crew, 9 out of 10. Stani is fully doxed and hands-on. BDG Labs, Ernesto, Andico, ACI, Gauntlet, Chaos, OSO, Ruti. Leadership roles all have public names and accountability. The only deduction is for centralization risk and scaling governance. Tokenomics, 8 out of 10. Fixed 16 mil supply, staking utility, protocol revenue, and buybacks. The only drag is regulatory uncertainty around revenue sharing with GHO and how that plays out under US law. Product delivery, 10 out of 10. From ETHLend to Aave V2 to V3 features to stablecoin launch, they've delivered. Features are live, integrations are running. If you're going to give full score, this is where Aave earns it. Community, 8 out of 10. 300,000 plus followers, active DAO forums, strong branding, ghost motif, many devs and users engaged. A point off because not everyone is a meme fanatic. More serious crowd, less hype, but high quality. Narrative and timing, 8 out of 10. Real yield DeFi is a strong narrative now. GHO, cross-chain, institutional angles all help. It's not bleeding edge hype like AI coins, but it's resilient and cycle-friendly. Adoption, 10 out of 10. $60 billion in deposits, thousands of daily active addresses, plugged into MetaMask, Balancer, institutional deals. It's not theory, it's daily use. Regulatory risk, 7 out of 10. This is one of the few real clouds. US rules, stablecoin law under Genius Act, AML regulation, these could bite. They've mitigations via Avara, governance design, but risk is real. Alpha potential, 8 out of 10. It's not a moonshot small cap, but a blue chip with serious upside. In a bull run, 5 times 10 times is realistic if narrative holds, features scale, and regulation doesn't kill momentum. Final dyno score, 8.6 out of 10. Aave is a garage certified banger, strong across the board, built with real muscle, but tempered by regulatory risk and complexity. And that's the teardown on Aave. Props again to Christian, our research chief, for crunching the data. Gang, we're building this channel one follower at a time. So smash that like, hit follow, and share this with your crew. Check out gurucryptogarage.guru. It's free. You'll get daily updates, raw alpha, charts, and deep dives. Let us know what you think. If it sucks, tell us so we can make it better. If there's a project you want us to put on the lift next, drop it in the comments. From all of us, and Lulu the pig sniffing charts, let it rip. Garage out.